Welcome to day 2 of building a workshop that converts. We're a little bit late, a little bit of technical difficulties today, but we're here. So let's jump right in. Yesterday, we talked about how to build a workshop that converts. And one of the main things, or the main thing I should say, is building trust. This is such a huge piece of what we need to do in order to actually have people convert. Now, we want to make sure that we're getting people to convert on the workshop the first time. So this is not like let them come back 3, 4, 5, 6 times. I mean, they totally can, but there's no reason why they shouldn't convert right away, even if they are cold leads. So this is sort of a lie I used to believe, that it was normal and it was okay if people weren't converting until like 6 months later. And I shouldn't say it's not okay. It's totally okay. But the goal should be to help people right away, right? We should be creating an environment where people feel like they can jump in on day 1 with you. Guys, if you're joining me live, jump in, say hello. Hey, Marsha, great to see you. So we want to make sure that we are creating an environment, creating a workshop where people can actually get started with you right away. So here are 5 ways that we're going to actually build that trust inside of the workshop. So first of all, yesterday we talked about not doing these long, crazy intros. I remember when I first started online, I don't know, back in 2013, 14, and people were spending like half an hour, 35 minutes doing this whole intro of themselves, trying to create credibility or show their credibility, which is totally cool and I get it. But for me, I felt like I didn't need all of that information. I wanted to get into it. There was obviously something about them that made me sign up in the first place, and I didn't need all of the nitty-gritty details or the huge story or any of that stuff. And so for me, I recommend that in your workshops, you do a very short introduction. You want to honor people's time, right? People are busy. I don't want them sitting on a workshop for any longer than they need to. I like to max out at 60 minutes tops. And I want to make sure that they're getting what they came for. So the first part of this is no more long 20 and 30 minute intros. One slide, and then include your stories throughout the workshop so that you can weave it in. You can show them the credibility as you go. But it's not necessary to do this 20 and 30 minute intro at the very beginning, okay? Then the second piece, and this one's big too, is not holding back. You know, a lot of the gurus are saying things like, teach them the what but not the how. Now, of course, we talked about this a little bit yesterday too. I understand we don't want to give away everything because everything belongs inside of the program. However, we don't want people to come and feel like they've been duped. We don't want people to come and feel like they came for something and they didn't get it, right? One of the number 1 pieces of feedback that I get on all of my workshops is that I actually gave them something. And it's not the reason they don't buy, it's the reason that they do. Because they trusted me, because I was different than everybody else, because I actually gave them something and helped them within that workshop time frame, okay? So there's no holding back. Instead, you want to create a 4 or 5 pillar framework that you're showing people will help them get to the result that they're looking for. And inside of the workshop, you're going to teach 2 of them. And so you are giving everything you can on those 2, but of course you can't teach everything you know in 60 minutes, right? So you are giving everything that you can on those 2 pillars. You're not holding anything back. You're not trying to teach them a little bit of this and hold back this other piece. We're not going to do that. We're going to actually give them everything we can in those first 2 pillars. And then we're going to tell them that in order to get to the goal, we also need to do these 3 other things, right? Because we can't possibly teach them everything that we know inside of the workshop. So this makes more sense, right? People are going to feel like you really gave them something, and then they're going to understand that there's obviously more, right? There's of course going to be more steps to achieving their result than a 60-minute workshop. So it makes sense to them, and then they can feel like, ooh, I really understood these couple of things that you were talking about today. Like, thank you so much, right? So you're gonna wanna have this framework. And if you don't know exactly what that is yet, then you can start to kind of think about this, right? What are the 4 or 5 pillars that you need to, work on with somebody in order for them to get their results, right? What are 2 that you can teach, okay? And what are the other 2 or 3 that you're gonna leave for inside of the program, okay? So this not holding back is massive. So that's the second one. That's the second way that we are going to build trust. Then, part of teaching one of those 2 pillars is going to be creating an asset. So for example, if you guys have been on my Design the Perfect Group Coaching Offer workshop, you know that we actually create your group coaching offer in real time, right? So you want to help them create something, whether it's an offer, whether it is a plan of some kind. Maybe you're helping them create their workout plan. Maybe you're helping them create a basic meal plan for themselves. Maybe you're helping them create some kind of self-care plan, or maybe it's their dating profile, right? So you want to help them create something inside of the workshop so they will walk away feeling like, wow, I actually got this thing done. It's why we call it workshop, where you're actually creating something. It's why it's not called masterclass, right? It's not called webinar. It's called workshop, because we're actually going to create something, okay? That's the third one. So creating an asset. Then the fourth piece is you're going to lead them to your call. So instead of it being a strategy call, a discovery call, where the purpose is specifically to talk about your program, we are going to invite them into what I call an immediate impact call. And what that obviously means is they are going to get immediate impact from being on this call. Why? Because on the call, we're going to review the asset that they created in the workshop. So again, for example, they are creating their group coaching offer on our workshop. And then the call is called the group coaching offer review or audit call. So that means that I'm actually going to get my eyes directly onto their offer, look it through, give them feedback, and give them that stamp of approval, right? People want to know, like, even though you've given them all the steps, even though you've told them what to do, they've created the plan with your help, but they still feel like they're not exactly sure if they did it right, okay? So the call is going to be a natural, easy progression for them to go from being on your workshop, building this asset, to, ooh, yeah, I want your eyes on my stuff. I want to make sure that I've done this properly, right? So the call is going to be leading to the group coaching offer audit call or your dating profile review call, right? So a natural progression into that review, where you're also gonna talk about the offer. So that's number 5, is you're gonna be inviting them into the offer, but the offer, again, is gonna be such a natural progression from the review call that it makes sense. So what this looks like is something like this. You create the asset on the workshop. So we create the group coaching offer. I invite them into the group coaching offer review call. So building trust, building more trust, because I'm going to help you and I'm going to do something right away on the call with you. It's not just about selling you something, right? And at the end, when I've done the review, because we know there are other pillars that they need in order to get to their goals, it is a natural progression again to say, okay, great. Now we've got your offer solidified, or we've got your dating profile solidified, right? Or we have your meal plan or your workout plan or whatever it is solidified. And now I'd like to invite you into my XYZ program, where we're going to cover the other 3 pillars that we talked about in the workshop, so that I can help you actually get to your goals. So do you guys see how every step of the way, it's a natural progression? It doesn't feel salesy. It's not pushy. This is because you are there to help them, right? And it's building trust all the way along, right? We're starting with honoring their time, making sure that they get what they need, okay? And we're not spending all this time talking about ourselves and our whole lives, right? That's the first one. And then the second one is we're not holding back. We're not going to let people leave thinking that they came to get something that they didn't get. And then third, we're going to build that asset with them. We're gonna review it for them on the call, and then we're gonna naturally invite them into the program where they can learn about the other 2 or 3 pillars that were in your initial framework, okay? So I hope that this is making sense for you guys. So yesterday we talked about how to create a workshop that converts. We talked about the number one thing being trust. Today we're talking about the 5 ways to build that trust. And then tomorrow we're gonna talk about the outcomes, how this is gonna help you, how this is gonna create that 6-figure business for you, right? And what having a signature workshop will actually do for you. So I can't wait to talk about that, because obviously I want you guys to all be 6-figure CEOs and more. I want you to have time freedom. I want you to be able to do whatever you want when you want to. I want you to not feel like you're in content creation lockdown mode all the time. And so tomorrow we're going to talk about all the results that you can get from actually building a workshop like this that you run on repeat, that will also bring you in clients consistently and repeatedly and on demand. So as often as you want to run this workshop, you can be bringing in clients. This is absolutely a game changer in your business. I know this firsthand. I remember the days of creating all the new workshops and testing and doing and trying to follow the gurus and all of that stuff. And I also know what it feels like to have been able to create a workshop like this that I've run for over 3 years and continuously gotten results. So I can't wait to share more about that with you guys tomorrow. I, again, hope that this was helpful. I'd love to hear your takeaways. Drop them in the comments below. Let me know what you learned or what's, that aha moment. And I look forward to seeing you guys again tomorrow morning at 9:30. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.